Academy Live. My name is Anthony,
I'm Gabby.
and we are here talking about voiceover, and we are
Mhm.
drinking coffee.
Always coffee.
It is wonderful to have everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is June 18th. And if you are brand new to us, as always, or maybe not, either way, you can please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we had an interesting thing come up question yesterday about it. To get notified that we are live, you have to hit the bell note. You have to go in there, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification, and then make sure it's on all.
Ring my bell.
Right, so that way you actually get notified that that we are here. So there you go. That's how all that works. And also, don't forget, check out Academy Voices. We often talk about it in VO
Yeah.
Journey Academy. So we'll
Yep.
chat more about that as time goes on, as we always do.
Mhm.
But today, after we got all that out of the way, today we are. And don't forget to comment. Tell us where you're
Yes.
from. Tell and ask questions as always. We love to learn more about you. But we're talking about kind of picking up yesterday, going a deeper dive into getting your own clients, curating your own clients.
Yeah.
So we love this topic. This is a big one for us because I think this is primarily how we are going to get voiceover work. Once you move away, I mean, because platforms are not for everybody as well. And sometimes when you get on there, that's great, but you want to grow and expand your business, and
But
this is the way to do it. So,
also, I think the diversification
mhm,
conversation is necessary here. We can't just rely on one thing.
right,
Platforms come and go. Web, anything web related, right? It can have things can happen and it can suddenly take a shift. We have to have diverse sources of opportunities. It's just like an investment portfolio, right? You've got to have all of these little arms out there working for you. And so far too often, and Anthony, I know you see it too, a
hmm,
lot of people are just like, when I ask the $1 million question, right, where do you find opportunities, they only name one or two platforms or one or
right,
two sites, and I'm always like, ooh,
right.
yeah, that's kind of scary.
It's very scary.
You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
No, you can. And the thing I always said about, platforms is remember, I always it's funny, right? I always think they can giveth and they can taketh away. I mean, whenever you are whenever you are, just you hit your wagon to one thing,
Yeah.
you know, it's just gonna one day it's gonna be great and another day it's feast or
Mhm.
famine.
Mhm.
And we want
For
more
sure.
control of our businesses. And
They
I think
give
you're
it
absolutely
and
right. Diversity
take
is
away.
everything. Do you like that? No, I
I
always
love
think
that.
it's always
I love
true.
that.
It
It
is
is.
absolutely
It
true.
is.
So exciting things. Recently we're about to start a new semester for
Mhm.
VO Journey Caddy. And by the way, we're not going to say anything, but we have some really exciting things happening. So very excited, but
Yeah.
we like super super exciting. Our new semester, we have a class. One of the classes we've been that we're coming to as Marketing 201, and one of the things we do for a variety of whatever we do, but part of it is starting now to go and get direct clients, right? Going to them, putting together how we're going to reach out, how we're going to find these companies or individuals that we're reaching out to, what we're going to say in emails, how do we follow up, what does our presentation look like. One thing I love about Gabby, and to talk to you, I want to ask you this, Gabby. So
Sure.
from a presentation standpoint, and I've heard you talk about the importance of this, and I couldn't agree more with all my heart. The importance of what we're sharing and showing potential prospects,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Talk to me a little bit about how you go about that thought process of setting up those we're calling them presentations, right? But
Yeah.
how you're
Yeah.
presenting yourself.
So there's two ends to this, right? There's your product, there's you as the voice actor, and it's making certain that you have a cohesive presentation that shows off your primary skill set to that person's needs. And making certain that it's very clear, right? Like the days of, voice actors trying to do all the things all at once, it's largely gone because nobody has an attention span anymore. So it's making sure that, yeah, what you do is very, very, very consistent, very clear, very simple in a way. And that's, your website, your demos, your overall marketing message. But then there's the communication piece and communicating with these potential clients. There's certain things that we do in this industry that I am honestly kind of appalled by, because
Mm,
I can't believe it happens. I can't believe that still to this day, most people start an introductory email with, I'm a professional voice actor.
right, right.
So for me, the big thing is always, let's not sound desperate. Let's sound like the confident, secure, right, business owners we are.
Right.
And let's back our skills and our expertise in a way that doesn't cast doubt or look, yeah, just desperate or depressing. And I
Hmm.
think that that's really, really important.
Oh,
And then,
absolutely.
the other piece is just, rather than being so obvious in a sales effort, it's a little bit of what we were talking about yesterday, making a real effort to say, let's partner up.
Hmm.
Let's work together. Let's build a relationship in a different way. So I think, yeah, that's pretty important.
No, I love all that. I love all that. So real quick, I don't know. So I'm gonna refresh my screen real
The
quick
chat is
because
shockingly
the
quiet.
chat is on our end. There's no
Yeah,
chatting, and we
yeah,
have
and
a
that's
bunch of
weird.
people watching. So let me refresh. I'll be right back. So you're just gonna see Gabby, a beautiful face for just a moment.
I don't know.
Yes, I'll be right back. Hold
Do a
on. Let
ditty.
me.
We'll figure it. Hi. Gotta love technology. Let's
Okay,
see.
I
Let's
am
see if that
back.
helped. Yeah,
So let's see. We will see. So it looks like we've got. All
so
right. So if
weird.
you are here, please don't be
Yeah,
afraid. Leave a chat so we know it's working.
yeah.
Hopefully.
We've never had a dead chat, so this is
No,
kind of
no, we have
surprising.
not. We have not had a dead chat. So it's just very awkward,
It is.
right? Let's say so. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's something with the some.
Oh,
Oh, there we
there we
go.
go.
They've got.
Stinks.
They got. Well, thank you, adulthood. That's we're adulting
We
today.
are adulting,
I like it.
absolutely.
I like it. So yeah. So good to have you,
Hey,
Dylan.
Dylan.
Um, yeah, I think so. From a practical standpoint, right now we kind of get the 20,000 foot view. You know, you kind of there's maybe a couple parts to this whole idea, right? When we're trying to, so you set out and you're like, okay, I want to get a pipeline of potential clients that would come to me and they have a job and they want to hire me, right, directly. So what how do we set all of that up?
Mm.
And we had this funny conversation yesterday, Evan and I, but right, marketers mess everything up, right? Because when we get something that seemingly works, right? Marketers come along and they try to quadruple, 10x it,
Yeah.
20x it, and turns into this very um, cold feeling, not relatable type of marketing and reaching out to each other. So what I like to do, all right, is to start out the scenario is okay, we're gonna find, let's start in a certain area in the
Mhm.
country, perhaps. Maybe
Mhm.
you pick a state, maybe your state. It's a great thing to
Mhm.
start even locally,
Yep.
right? Where you are. Okay. And you can literally do a simple search even in Google,
Mhm.
right? Where you're looking for, and you can target. I will be honest with you, I do like to at first start to look for places that I have a pretty good idea of that they are buying or they would possibly purchase a voiceover.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we search for things a pie in the sky, like this company, right? I saw an ad and they will, they're clearly doing ads, but they're not the ones who are actually purchasing the voiceover,
Mhm.
right? They're purchasing the advertisement as a whole. So, we want to, so these are, maybe video production companies, marketing agencies, ad agencies. Now you have social media advertising agencies, and we go into further into video game production companies. There's so many different, so many. And by the way, that's the tip of the iceberg. But let's just say
Really.
we target some of these. All right, we target some local businesses that match this criteria. Now, if you're in a bigger city, you're going to have a lot more. But we target these and we go to their website and maybe we find a contact, okay, email or something, right? We can start by, this is just one way we can start by getting that email, maybe do a teeny bit of research. I think that it always works. It's always worked better for me if I've sent a direct email with at least one reference to what they're doing. That's just me. You don't always have to do that. But then I like to include, all right, something about, asking if they are actually looking for anybody on the roster right now.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
actually like to include that because I feel like that's a yes or no answer that is easier than, hey, can you hire me right now? Right? Like, that's a kind of very, pushy. So we've been getting, but the brings we've been getting some great results with this. So we have a couple of people who've been getting multiple jobs now from this, and this style. And basically, you're sending this reach out email. Not everybody's gonna get back to you, but the ones who do get back to you, they'll let you know. Yes, send us over your demo. But talking about the presentation in that email, right? It's important to include. All right, some sort of the very best that you have. I like links to YouTube. And I tell you why I like YouTube, not just my web. If you have a good look, if you have a good website and your website set up, you have your website in your signature.
Hmm.
But I like a good YouTube video of like my best video of me doing a voiceover, and I usually use a YouTube link because I have found out of everything I send, people will click on that the majority of the time.
Mm.
All right. And they really, really, because think about it. If I send a link to you in your email, there's no way in God's green earth you're going to click on it unless it's something you absolutely trust. Okay. And we all trust YouTube. So I've had just phenomenal results. By the way, on a side note, I've had phenomenal results
That's
on
a cool
platforms with that
idea.
too.
I've never done that. That's
Yeah, but just because we want people to, and again, you're trying to get your very best on there, so it just even gives you more credibility. You're on
hmm.
YouTube, even if you're on YouTube, it's gonna be your YouTube
Oh
channel.
yeah.
But it's still, that's a great way to get people to view it. And then they may ask you, "Great, this is fantastic. Can you send me a downloadable, demo?" So you'll
Right.
have that prepared for them. But that's kind of how that first part goes.
So let me expand on a couple things you said that I think are important. So the first is with the selection of what you're looking for, this criteria, right, of a
Mm-hmm.
category of a client type, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
be really specific, guys, super specific, because otherwise this is where sales gets wacky and the expression, trying to nail jello to a tree comes from. If you're trying to do too many things and reach too many buying types, you will get confused.
Yes.
So keep it really simple and like pick an industry type, pick a locality,
Yes.
and then go full
Yes.
force. The other thing I want to touch on is, Anthony, when you were saying, in your personalized email to them, maybe reference one of their projects or something that they've done recently. I think that's great, but don't be disingenuous about it. I see that a lot now. LinkedIn is sort of the king of that. Like, I feel like everybody on
Mm.
LinkedIn is like, "Oh, I saw your recent post. Kudos." And like,
Mm.
there's a lot of like,
Oh, thank you. So let me
yeah.
rephrase. I don't mean about a project.
Oh,
I mean on their website. Most of these companies, if they don't, that's okay. You can actually skip it. But most of these companies will have a vision, a mission statement. They will have something that the company is about.
okay.
Okay? And I'm talking more about mentioning just briefly, that you see them. They are seen, you see what they're trying to do. And it might even align a little bit with what you believe in.
That
Okay?
makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
agree
love
with you.
that.
The
Love
project
that.
thing, I see that all the time. Like that's I saw your latest post. It could be better. It's like, okay, well, thank you
I
very
just
much for that.
yeah, but I also feel like, it's just becoming hollow. to mention somebody's something or other and
Yes.
pat them on the back. It's becoming very, very hollow. So I like
Hmm.
that much better. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
align yourself with the company's mission statement. That's genius.
Yeah, and it just makes it. And again, not no one does that. I mean, like I don't get marketing messages because that would actually mean they had to go look
Mm,
at me and take some time to actually care a
yeah.
little bit to see
Yeah.
what I'm about.
Something I also really like to do, double-edged sword though, because on one hand, it's convenient for them. On the other hand, it may not elicit another reply or conversation. I like to make sure that my demos are downloadable directly from my website so that I can
Oh yeah.
literally tell them whatever you might be looking for, you can download directly from my site all my materials. But I love that YouTube piece.
Mm.
I'm going to steal that, Anthony.
No, please
I
do.
like it.
It's unbelievable the increase in clicks and then the credibility you get. But our biggest challenge,
Oh.
right, whenever we do these things, right, is we're trying to, first get someone to open our email. So let's say we
Mhm.
send an email, and on a side note too, this is another thing that we found. Done a lot of research on how much do you actually write in your email, right? Because how much will someone actually read when they open your email, right? Exactly. We really only want,
Un
I mean,
poquito,
no
por
more
favor.
than a couple of sentences.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And again, we're not trying to sound like disingenuous, like we're best friends with these people, like we know them, but they don't need, because think about it. If you're hot, in this particular case, you want to make sure when you reach out, you're asked, hey, such and such. I saw your website. Really
Mhm.
thought your mission was really cool. I'm wondering if you happen to be accepting, voice actors on your roster. Also, I have this is another important thing. I find that making sure there's some things that people want to know. We've even talked about this thing. Do you have like and I call it above the fold stuff.
Mm.
So I know Gab will appreciate this in our years, right? What are the main things that they really care about hiring you? Yes, your performance is of course vital to all this, absolutely.
Mhm.
But they care about a couple things like your space, your equipment. Do you have Source Connect? Do you like these things are really important and those are things that they would end up asking you anyways. And if you can easily get that in there, that's like, wow, this
Yeah.
person checks all the boxes.
Exactly, beat him to the punch, right?
Mhm.
Oh, I love that you said above the fold, you just stole my heart, yeah. I talk about that with people with
Yeah.
websites all the time, like, when I'm helping voice actors with their websites, I'm like, "Your demo's gotta be above the fold,"
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a big thing, but, okay, so to expand on this too, I have
Mhm.
found find commonality. And
Mm.
it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, I'll tell you one of mine because it's silly, but right, everybody loves a little hometown pride, right? Everybody loves that little, like, oh, we're from the same place. So anytime I see somebody with the area codes that, were from my childhood
Mm.
or where on Long Island where I grew up and in and around New York City, I'll mention it. I'll just be
Yes.
like, "Hey, fellow New York girl. Hey, fellow Long Islander. Hey, I saw that you've got a 631." Like it's it's a silly thing, but it instantly creates a little bit of camaraderie,
Oh
and
yeah.
then that person feels, how do I put this? Slightly dickish to ignore you.
Well, oh,
You know,
absolutely. Oh no, I
you
love
have
that.
found
Mhm.
something, right? And I'll tell you something. One of our listeners did that recently with me. Listeners,
Really.
viewers, what do we call that? I don't even know. He reached out to me.
Amazing voice
Yeah,
actors.
right, right. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, like yeah, one of the community, how about that? The community reached out to me, and it was an episode that you and I had done. I had my scorpion mug in the my Scorpio mug in the picture, and he opens the email by saying uh something to the effect of, I married two Scorpios,
Oh,
and
that's
and I
funny.
replied back, and I remember this because I was like, this is too, I said, what, you didn't quit after one? That wasn't enough for you? You needed more
Oh,
pain?
that's good stuff.
But I will not forget
Mhm.
him because
Mhm.
of that, right? It really made a connection, but it was quick. It was quick
Yes.
and it was simple, and yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to do, right? Any if you can make somebody smile genuinely, if you
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I totally agree. And you have to think this is the type of, relationship you want to have with these people in general. And I think that's an important thing, right? Because
sure.
we're all going to when we're in if we go in business together, we're in business together, but what type of relationship do we want to have? And it starts right off the bat.
Hmm.
So I really love that. Now, from the follow-up standpoint, the reality is that the majority of emails we get sent, we're not going to get replies from. That's just the way it is, okay?
It is.
um it's a part of it. So we typically, nice to send a follow up, because sometimes, you don't you I mean, I go through, we were talking the other day, I get I mean, if I don't mess with my email before lunch, I'll have a couple hundred emails, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, that I had to that I go there. So what am I'm not going to go through every email and say, I wonder what General Mills wants me to know today, right? I'm going to go, delete, 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 delete. Like that's what most of us do,
Yeah.
right? So it's important to know, like, sending follow-ups, right? Is a good thing, right? And typically we send a couple follow-ups, and I think in the follow ups, you don't need to change your message. You don't need to be like, well, I see you weren't opening your email today, Mr. Cranky Pants. Like, you don't need to be like super silly about the stuff, just say, hey, I'm following up with this. Like it doesn't have to. Well, some people, do you
I'm
feel like we make it
gonna
rocket science
throw.
sometimes?
Hey, I'm gonna throw something else at it. I'm gonna throw a contrarian approach. I don't know. Trying to use big words today that I probably shouldn't. I should quit while I'm
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Don't even reference the first email. Just resend it cold, effectively.
Mm, mm,
Just because you never know, right? They
mm-hmm.
might just have overlooked it. It might not have, yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. We don't have to make a big production about this is my second email to
Right.
you.
Right.
Just try
Absolutely.
some slightly different wording. I also think that it's important to note that people that are contacted, and this is really only applicable, right, to your studios and your agents and casting people, right? The folks who are contacted by voice actors all the time, many of them only review talent periodically. So
Right.
somewhere in their inbox, they have a big giant folder that they shove your email into until they have their quarterly talent review or biannual talent review, and it will sit until that time. And many, many,
Yes.
many, many, many months later, you will hear something from them.
Yes.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Absolutely. And so we're kind of coming down to the end of our session today. I think we talked about a lot of great
Yeah,
things and great
real.
shit. I want to point out one more thing about this, and I
Yeah,
think it's becoming more, just continuously more painstakingly true and accurate for this work. Please, whatever you do, don't underestimate the importance of how professional you are presenting yourself, or
mhm,
lack
mhm,
thereof,
mhm.
and wherever you are presenting yourself. All right. Also, please don't underestimate. And there's always a big discussion about equipment and all these things, and I totally understand. And I know so and so made it, to Hollywood, Hollywood stars with a, snowball mic. I get those stories. Okay, but the in the end, the reality is, right, is that it does matter how professional we, as businesses, we're supposed to be
Yeah,
professionals, come across, and don't underestimate it. So many, I think a lot of unfortunate voice actors underestimate all that other stuff, even your picture,
they do.
right? And you think that, well, that's really not what they shouldn't be interested in that. That shouldn't matter. How many times have you heard that? I mean, that shouldn't matter. And it's like, in in a perfect world, okay, sure, that shouldn't matter, because they're not going to ever see, the people listening to us will never see our face, never know our name. But I always say the people who are hiring you do, and
Yeah,
they have to envision
yeah.
you as that
Mhm,
voice.
mhm.
So you have to, that could be something, all of your good efforts that might be holding you back a little. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. And for the love of God, people, have an email signature.
Mm,
Please don't make me work to find you.
Hmm.
Don't make me work to call you if that's what I need to do. Don't make me work. Just
We saw an incredible stack, Abby. I was working with one of my mentor students, and
mm,
we made sure, like, he had, once he got his website and everything, he added his website address in his email signature, and literally went from nothing, like no responses. He was getting 60 to 70% click throughs to his website,
oh wow.
right? And so you you're saying now this is getting extreme exposure to getting people to
Mm,
your website, right? By putting it just in his email, because they're not going to go search,
no.
just like Gabby said.
Yeah.
You get it in there and people will click on it
Yeah.
because they see a website and like, okay, that's a legitimate website link.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go check it out, just
Mm-hmm.
like the YouTube thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Great
Let's
job
see.
oh,
I just want to real quick though
Professor
too.
Stacy Tracy got in a
Yeah.
question right before the end here.
Yeah,
Go
we have
ahead.
so many people here. I just want to say we've got
Yeah.
Michigan, Oregon, we've got San
Minnesota.
Francisco Bay, Minnesota, Rochester, yeah, Minnesota, Orlando,
Mm.
Florida. I love it. I love it.
That's
Okay,
so
so
awesome.
Professor Tracy, your question might be tomorrow's question.
What are to pro what are the
Pros and
pros
cons
and
about your web
cons
page name.
about your
Oh, real
web
name or
page
not?
name? Real name or not?
Oh, so
Hmm.
alias to alias or not to alias?
Ah, okay. What are the
Interesting.
pros and cons about your web page name? You mean like what you're
I
naming,
think
oh, like name it after yourself or name it something else, or like what's the name? Okay.
I also think there's something important to that about like your like profiles, like
Mm.
on a lot of the online casting sites, a lot of people
Hmm.
use pseudonyms because they don't want to use their real name with them. So,
Hmm.
so aliases, business names, yeah, we can totally
I
explore
think
that
that's
tomorrow.
great. I think
Cool.
it's great. Well, hey everybody, thank you so much. Great session today. I thought this was really good.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
all very much. You have a wonderful day. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Goodbye. All right. Goodbye.